Alright, so I've been wanting to do this video for a while. I just recently picked up the Rocky Talkie walkie-talkies, and I wanted to compare them to the Motorola 803s that I have. I'd say both in the higher end as far as what you're getting in a handheld radio. Rocky Talkies come in at about double the price, so we're going to see if it's worth it. So out here today, hiking with my best bud. I'm gonna get about a mile back and see the trail we're on. We'll see how good they are. All right, first stop is the quarter-mile mark. Let's try out the Rocky Talkie, see how it does. Test, 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 test. It's a Rocky Talkie test mark at 1/4 mile.
Test, 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 test. So Rocky Talkie test mark at 1/4 mile.
All right, now let's hit the Motorola at 1/4 mile. Test, 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 test. This is the Motorola test at 1/4 mile.
Test, 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 test. This is the Motorola test at 1/4 mile.
Both of these should have zero problem whatsoever at this point. A little bit into some wooded area. Texas, it's all just cedars. It's a beautiful day today. Super clear out, no clouds in the sky. Probably around 60 degrees right now. And keep on going. Okay, so let's talk about some of the features of the Motorola T803. First of all, at the time of this recording, Amazon has them listed at $126. That's a $100 savings over the Rocky Talkie. Some of the features, it is a FRS radio, so there's no license required. Weatherproof IP54, so it'll handle some splashes, but it's not fully submersible waterproof. Easily pair with other T803 radios. It has 22 channels plus 121 privacy codes. So that gives you lots of options for your group to keep others off of your channel. It'll take both AA batteries, which you need 3, or the rechargeable battery that comes with it. It has a do not disturb mode, USB-C charging, NOAA weather radio and alerts, a built-in flashlight, hands-free voice activation, emergency alerts, vibracall alert. It's compatible with all FRS and GMRS radios and Bluetooth headset connectivity. Let's stick with this Bluetooth capabilities for a little while. Not only can you connect to the headset, if you download the app from Motorola, you will be able to locate and text without being connected to cell service. This can be huge. Most of the times we're in the backcountry, there is no cell phone reception. And in order to be able to locate people, they have to know where they're at. This app has a map on it that will allow you to see exactly where that individual is at based off their radio location. Now, everybody needs to have the app and they all need to be connected, but this is a big step forward in walkie-talkie technology. Okay, next let's talk about the things we don't like about this radio. First off, the attachment system. It's a cheap plastic clip. Yes, it goes on to the waistband and holds in place, but to release it, you just have to pull up on it. There's no actual way to release the clip to slide it out properly like you should. Now, to get access to the batteries, you have to fully take the clip off. Huge pain to get to that stuff. The other problems that it has is the buttons on it. There's 6 buttons on the front of this radio. You really have to be familiar with this radio before going into the field or take the manual with you. Finally, the 16-hour battery life. I get it, there's a lot of technology in this radio, there's a lot going on, but 16 hours just isn't going to cut it for this type of system. So here we are a little over half a mile in, and we just saw a bunch of deer go by us. Then we realized why when this guy showed up. I get it, I've been there, and I have to admit I have done it, but it's much easier just to keep your dog on a leash, especially on a heavily used trail like this in this park. It can be really dangerous, not only for your animal, but for the others around that he's not familiar with. All right, so half a mile in, get a test real quick. Already, I would say this Rocky Talkie is coming out a little ahead just because of the carabiner clip system. Rocky Talkie test at 1/2 mile, over.
Rocky Talkie test at 1/2 mile. Over.
Easy to clip back on, just keep going. The Motorola has got the pocket clip, which, like, is not the best. It doesn't even really, you push it, it doesn't even do anything. Motorola, 1/2 mile test, over. All right, we'll see if those get picked up.
Motorola, 1/2 mile test. Over.
As you can see, I really did not care for the plastic clip on that Motorola radio. But enough about them, let's move over to the Rocky Talkies. First, let's start with the bad. They run $220 for a 2-pack. That's a pretty hefty price for 2 radios. Granted, people love these things. They get 4.8 stars out of a possible 5 on Amazon. Both are FRS radios. Both claim a 35-mile line of sight range. You'll learn that we get nowhere near that. Granted, we're definitely not line of sight when it came to this test. The Rocky Talkies have a shatterproof screen, an IP56 waterproof rating that is better than the Motorola. The Rocky Talkie has 5 buttons versus the Motorola's 10 buttons, and a protective coating in case you were to drop it. Speaking of dropping it, let's talk about the clip system. The Rocky Talkie has a climbing rated carabiner that clips onto you to hold it in place. It's also backed up by a lanyard that's attached to another clip. So if you're up talking out on the slopes, if you drop the radio, you're not going to lose it in the snow. It's definitely going to be attached to you in a secondary location so you can pull on the lanyard and get it back. The Rocky Talkie definitely pulls ahead in the battery life and attachment system when it comes to these 2 radios. Let's see how the rest of the test goes now. All right, 3/4 of a mile out. Let's see what we got. Should be good reception. We're on top of a hill, so. Rocky Talkie test, 3/4 of a mile.
Rocky Talkie test, 3/4 of a mile.
Motorola test, 3/4 of a mile.
Motorola test, 3/4 of a mile.
All right, let's keep going. So at 3/4 of a mile, you're definitely able to hear both the Rocky Talkie and the Motorola radio. Granted, there is a little bit of static, but we're in some heavy cover and on the other side of a hill. So I'm really not too disappointed in the reception at that range. So let's keep heading down the trail and see what happens at the 1 mile mark. All right, 1 mile mark. Kind of down in a little bit of a valley here. Definitely on the other side of the hill, so we'll see what the reach is on these. Rocky Talkie 1 mile check. Rocky Talkie 1 mile check. Motorola 1 mile check. Motorola 1 mile check. Let's keep going. So I was definitely disappointed that at the 1 mile mark, neither one of these radios had any reception back in my pickup truck. I full on expected these to at least make it to 1 mile distance from my vehicle, and yet neither one did. So I'm not exactly sure which one got the farthest range out of the two because we were only checking every quarter mile. But as you can see at 1 mile, neither one of them was able to have any reception. Once we get to this footbridge here, we're about halfway out. So we're making our turn to start heading back to the pickup truck and completing this 3 mile loop. We want to recognize Troy as an Eagle Scout project he did, completing that bridge for us and refinishing it. Troy, good job. We appreciate the hard work. So as we make our way out of this little valley, you can hear me huffing and puffing, climbing back up this hill to make our way to the hilltop. There was still one more place that I wanted to test these radios for reception. I figured from this vantage point we should get a pretty good reading on what it's like to have a line of sight view. From what you're going to see up here is the downtown San Antonio and the medical center area, which is roughly 30 miles away from us. See, buddy. All right, so here we are at the top of the lookout for Eisenhower Park in San Antonio, Texas. Pretty up here, you got a full view, as you can see, all the way downtown, all the way around. So we're gonna test the radios from up here. We're about 1.5 miles out still. We've already made our way going back off of this loop. Motorola test 1.5 miles. Motorola test 1.5 miles. How ironic, somebody scraped in Rocky on the top of this thing. Rocky Talkie test 1.5 miles. Rocky Talkie test 1.5 miles. All right, let's head back and see what happened. Unfortunately, what happened was that after the 3/4 of a mile mark, neither radio had any reception back at the truck. I was pretty disappointed in that, but I have to keep in mind that we were in heavy cover and definitely lots of hills in between where we were at and the pickup truck. Although I thought from that high vantage point, one of the radios would pick it up, but neither one of them did. So we may have to go back and test out and see which one actually gets the better range between the two. Overall, I guess if you're looking for technology, if you're looking for something a little more advanced, I've got to lean towards the Motorola. But if you're looking for just a rugged outdoor radio, I've got to go with the Rocky Talkie. Now, does that allow you to make up for the difference and pay the $100 extra? That's going to be a decision that you have to make. As for me, I'm glad that I purchased both sets of radios. Definitely going to use both sets of radios. And hopefully this will help you in your decision making. Thank you for watching the video all the way through. If you'd like to like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Definitely want to get to 1,000 subscribers. So hopefully this helps you in your comparison between the Rocky Talkie radio and the Motorola T803.